The film begins with our protagonist Maxim embarking on a bold space mission intent on discovering extraterrestrial life. His journey takes an unexpected turn when an asteroid collision severely damages his spacecraft, forcing him to make an emergency landing on an unknown planet. Upon stepping outside, Maxim is met with the immediate destruction of his shuttle in a fiery explosion, severing his communication link with the outside world. Stranded and alone, he decides to venture into the unknown terrain of the planet. As Maxim explores, he encounters Zeph, an indigenous inhabitant of the planet who swiftly captures him. Zeph then hands Maxim over to the local authorities. Meanwhile, Corporal Guy, a soldier stationed nearby, receives orders to transport Maxim to the capital city as part of a secure convoy. During their journey, a tower's base is suddenly destroyed in an explosion, causing it to collapse onto the road and trapping Guy inside his vehicle. Displaying unexpected heroism, Maxim rescues Corporal Guy from the wreckage. This act of bravery reveals that the attack was orchestrated by the rebels, who oppose the supreme authority governing the state. In a parallel narrative, the head of the Department of Special Research, known as Procurer, assigns his subordinate Fink the task of retrieving Maxim for the department. Fink apprehends Maxim, but in a twist of fate, Maxim escapes from the vehicle. As he wanders through the bustling city, he stumbles upon a local cafe, where he intervenes to defend a waitress, Rada, from a rude customer. Rada, grateful and intrigued by Maxim, reveals that she's Corporal Guy's sister. Touched by Maxim's gesture, she invites him to her home. Upon Guy's return, Maxim engages in conversations about the planet's societal structure, and quickly realizes that both Rada and Guy have been indoctrinated with propaganda and distorted truths. During their conversation, Guy imparts knowledge about Serac, their state, governed by the mysterious ruling fathers. These figures are honored as protectors, having supposedly ended wars with their defensive towers shielding the nation from external threats. The true identities of these ruling fathers remain a closely guarded secret. Upon Maxim's initiative, he gets a recommendation from Corporal Guy to join the Guard. In this new role, Maxim exhibits exceptional skill and prowess, surprising Guy and others. Meanwhile, a tender and romantic relationship develops between Maxim and Rada as they frequently wander together. Maxim's duties soon involve hunting down rebels, identified by their characteristic seizures. His exposure to the interrogation of these rebels opens his eyes to a startling truth. They're not the terrorists as painted by the ruling fathers, but are, in fact, individuals with their own ideals and beliefs. A critical moment arises when Procurer orders Maxim to execute the captured rebels. In a dramatic turn of events, Maxim leads them to a forced execution site, only to release them, renouncing his duties and weapons and walking away. He passionately speaks about the fair and just world order that prevails on Earth, only to be shot by the captain in response. Meanwhile, the ruling fathers, in a secret meeting, conspire to launch an attack on neighboring states. Tyrannical, a prominent figure among them, suggests igniting a war, prompting the chief father to fabricate a pretext involving an attack on one of their towers. In a surprising twist, the rebels recover Maxim's body. A rebel doctor, amazed by Maxim's survival against all odds, unveils a dark secret. The ruling fathers are conspirators who seized power by silencing dissenters. They've been manipulating the populace with special radiation from the towers, causing agony and even death among a minority, including the rebels. Maxim, now recognized as an ally by the rebels, joins a daring mission to sabotage a tower, orchestrated by Tyrannical. Amidst intense gunfire, Maxim reaches the transmitter and successfully detonates it, but at a great cost. The rebel squad sacrifices their lives in the process. Soon after, Maxim finds sanctuary in Rada's apartment, where he shared his newfound knowledge about the mysterious towers with Rada and Guy. Suddenly, guards raid the apartment, leading to the arrest of both men. Maxim is then confined in a prison, where he encounters Zeph, the indigenous rebel he met earlier. He confides in Zeph about the destruction of the tower and the tragic loss of the rebel squad. In a parallel development, Procurer, the antagonist, seeks to take custody of Maxim from Stranik. Maxim's journey continues as he, along with other prisoners on death row, is assigned to clear the remnants of war robots along the southern borders. Meanwhile, Stranik discovers Maxim's immunity to the tower's emitters. In a surprising turn of events, Stranik goes against his agreement with Procurer and orders Maxim to be brought to him. The plot thickens as Maxim proposes a bold strategy to the rebels. Instead of targeting individual towers, they should aim for the central source of the signal. Zeph reacts, clarifying that the towers are operational continuously, not just sporadically, and their radiation impairs people's critical thinking, making them susceptible to any belief. However, this radiation only causes excruciating pain to the rebels, sparing them from the hypnotic effects. Maxim then embarks on a mission to the south to seek allies and destroy the border towers. During a confrontation with the military, he recognizes and captures Guy. Maxim's persistence leads them to breach barricades. Along the way, Maxim enlightens Guy about the true state of their planet, a realization that dawns upon Guy as he steps out of the tower's range and remains unaffected by the radiation. Feeling betrayed by the government, Guy's anger and disillusionment grows. Their journey takes another twist when they encounter a group of weird residents, dubbed mutants. Visiting the ruler of these lands, the Duke, Maxim pitches the idea of a rebellion against the ruling fathers to Duke. However, the mutants are unable to assist. Instead, they suggest seeking aid from the Island Empire, a venture that requires passing through contaminated territories. Generously, the Duke provides an old bomber for their journey. The climax intensifies as their flight is affected by the tower's radiation. Guy, under its influence, hinders Maxim's ability to pilot the aircraft. Maxim faces a dire situation as he struggles to control the bomber, which eventually collides with the tower. This collision startlingly snaps Guy out of his fanatical state, leaving him with no memory of his recent actions. However, their situation worsens when the aircraft is targeted and shot down by an automated anti-aircraft defense system. The bomber crashes into the sea, but through sheer determination and a stroke of luck, Maxim and Guy survive, managing to reach the safety of the shore. In a parallel storyline, Stranik, back in the city, orders Rada to be brought to him. His men abduct her off the street, and he tries to win her trust by claiming friendship with Maxim and showing her a recording of Maxim's escape. However, Rada sees through the deception and staunchly refuses to aid Stranik in his attempt to locate Maxim, resulting in her imprisonment. Meanwhile, Guy and Maxim venture into a nearby old submarine. Inside, they discover chilling evidence of inhuman experiments conducted on prisoners. Their exploration leads them to the control room, where they are horrified to find video recordings of mass executions carried out by the Island Empire, the very entity they were hoping to ally with. This shocking revelation forces them to realize that an alliance with the Empire is off the table. Returning to the shore, they're intercepted by a coastal patrol. The unfolding situation reveals that a war has erupted with a neighboring state, and like many prisoners, they're sent to the front line. In a twist, Procurer, with an ulterior motive to lure Maxim to his apartment, orchestrates Rada's escape. He then entrusts Fink with the mission to locate and retrieve Maxim. Maxim and Guy find themselves dispatched to the front lines, where they're reunited with Zeph. Their unit is led by the captain of the guard, who denies Fink's request to hand over Maxim. The trio is then thrust into battle aboard old tanks. When Fink finally catches up to Maxim, the latter refuses to abandon his comrades, stunning Fink and bringing him aboard their tank. As the battle rages, Maxim steers their tank away from the fight. Guy, still under the influence of the radiation, obediently follows Maxim's lead and assists in rescuing their unconscious comrades. In a dramatic climax, Guy selflessly offers himself as a shield to protect Maxim from the commander's execution attempt. However, the gravely wounded Maxim summons his remaining strength and eliminates the commander. Devastated by the loss of his friend, Maxim is only stirred from his mourning upon hearing Rada's name from a now conscious Fink. He reluctantly agrees to cooperate with Procurer, After the battle, Maxim solemnly buries Guy while listening to Feng's propositions: a new apartment, a car, and some freedom, but access to Rada only upon proving his loyalty to the state. The plot takes another twist as Tyrannical secretly visits Procurer's department, where he encounters Maxim, setting the stage for further intrigue and conflict in this gripping sci-fi saga. In the gripping finale of the movie, Tyrannical lays out a bold plan for Maxim, proposing an overthrow of the ruling fathers. This plan involves Maxim infiltrating the central control of the tower system and activating a special form of radiation. This radiation is intended to induce waves of depression across the country, effectively subduing everyone, including the military. Once this state is achieved, Maxim's task is to eliminate the ruling fathers. In return for his success, Maxim is promised the rulership of the state, with the additional benefit of freeing Rada, who is currently in Procurer's custody. Tyrannical offers to be his advisor in this new regime. Armed with a resolve to change the fate of the planet, Maxim embarks on this critical mission, accompanied by Zeph. They successfully arrive at the central control facility. Maxim gains entry with relative ease, but soon faces resistance from guards near the elevator. After a brief scuffle, he manages to incapacitate them, but they quickly recover and give chase. Despite this, Maxim reaches the control center and activates the depression mode, sending waves of despair throughout the country. This dramatic moment is observed by Procurer, who witnesses people collapsing on the streets. Maxim then returns to retrieve a bomb he had brought with him, placing it strategically inside the building. After setting the timer, he exits the building, leaving it to its imminent destruction. Procurer, realizing the gravity of the situation, initiates a desperate pursuit of Maxim. The tension mounts as Procurer catches up, leading to an intense confrontation between the two. Just then, a powerful explosion annihilates the main transmitter, signaling a momentous turning point. As the dust settles, people on the street start to regain their composure and clarity. Maxim, driven by his love for Rada, rushes to find her and discovers her in a cryo chamber. He carries her outside, only to be confronted by Procurer. In a stunning revelation, Procurer discloses his true identity as an employee of Galactic Security from Earth who had arrived on the planet 20 years earlier. Maxim confronts Procurer, accusing him of complicity in the construction of the towers and the subsequent enslavement of the locals. Procurer counters with a philosophical reflection on the laws of history, suggesting that wars and enslavement are experiences common to all rational beings, and this planet was no exception. It's at this crucial moment that Maxim declares the planet as his new home. He vows to dedicate his life to prevent the emergence of another society founded on slavery. This powerful declaration marks the end of the movie, leaving a sense of resolution and the promise of a new beginning for Maxim and the inhabitants of the planet.